Now, Sifuna is one person that you cannot ignore in the Kenyan politics today. And if we've been around, if anybody has been around in politics for some time, you'll understand that this is almost the same journey that Raila, the late or right honorable Raila Odinga, lived. It's almost the same journey that he walked. Okay, you remember how Raila came out of Ford, all right? Came out of Ford, Kenya, right? Went to form, was it LDP? Got into NDP, got into KANU, got into National Rainbow Coalition, and eventually was in ODM. So, and most of the times, the reason why Raila will leave a place is because of differences in principle. Okay, so if Sifuna differs in principle with the rest of the ODM brigade, I think it's fine. It's okay to differ in principle, all right? And after they've differed in principle, then it will be important that he makes decisions that will really align well with his political career. Yeah, I think he's on the right path. As I've said before, Sifuna is in the right path, politically speaking. Yeah. Yeah, all politics is local. So I think it is very important for Edwin Sifuna to get the backing of Western Kenya. He's native because largely speaking, Kenyan politics is still tribal. Okay, so it's very, very important for him to get the backing of his people from Western Kenya. But that does not mean that Sifuna cannot be president. He still can because we understand the complications of the issues of the ground today. We know that there's a huge youth bulge. And I think among all these top runners for leadership in this nation, national leadership, I think Sifuna stands a high chance of rallying young people, of course, together with Babu Win and the rest, to support his candidature. So I think those who are fighting him from Western are in the wrong side of history because Sifuna is the future. Yeah. No, a number of them, our politicians are very selfish. A number of them are simply simply watching over their bread, what they're getting from the government. A number of our politicians have a very loose value system. They give their opinion and they give their support depending on how much they're paid. That is in public gala. We know it. You need resources to become president. You need money, okay? But who says it has to be your money? Okay, yeah, because we see this happening even in seasoned democracies like America. When Barack Obama wanted to become president, what happened? He had meetings with people who are going to sponsor his candidature. So you need money to be president, but it doesn't have to be your money. If you have an ideology that will resonate well with the nation, with the investors, with the young people, then I think you can be president anyhow. Yeah. Waswahili husema kwamba tunda lililoiva laanguka lenyewe, so lazima ngoje hadi liive vizuri. So I think it's just a build up, and I'll not be surprised if Sifuna declares his candidature. And I also think it will be important for him to consider having a political party, okay, and rallying a number of people behind him. And you can be sure that the dissenting voices within the larger ODM will want to identify with him, being that he's been a leader there for quite a while. So I think it's about time that he thinks and considers it seriously, because at the negotiating table you have to be sponsored by a party. You can't come that I'm an independent candidate and I want to sit at the negotiating table and I want to be a flag bearer of an already existing party or formation. You have to come through a party. And you know, the political parties that we have already, they are formed, they have their structures, they have the party leaders, they have the deputy leaders, the secretary generals and all that. So Honorable Sifuna cannot go into say UD and demand to become deputy party leader or demand to become party leader. Those positions are taken. So the only way in which he can negotiate well is if he goes ahead and forms his own political party, and then through that political party, he can now sit at the negotiating table with other leaders. Okay. Yeah. As I've said, if the opposition are divided, then they are going to fall. Okay. So he has no choice. He needs to form his party, then negotiate with the other opposition leaders. Yeah. Well, we all know, Ben, we all know that this government has really lost a lot of ground, and there's trust deficiency that runs deep between government and the and the wananchi. So it doesn't matter what the government does. The people have taken a side already. The people have taken a stand, and they have their reasons. Okay. And largely speaking, our government has been one in which there have been lots of compromises, compromising the public good, and I think that has really fed this mistrust. So that day, if government comes to you and tells you something that maybe they may be sincere about it, but you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You have to confirm. You have to verify. Otherwise, you may find yourself deep into problems. Okay, so our government has lost trust, and the government is aware of this. They've lost trust to the NG, and that's why they're trying to bribe us. Yeah, that's why they're really trying to bribe us. Why? Look, Waswahili husema chema chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza. Yes. So if you see government shouting on rooftops or on car tops, telling you how good they are, I think you should refer back to Kibaki, the late Kibaki, God rest his soul in peace. Yeah, Kibaki used not to launch roads everywhere, launch markets, launch bridges everywhere. But we saw what Kibaki did. So, as President Ruto says, facts should speak for themselves. Yes. Well, Kalau is that's a mess, man. That's a mess. And I think our politicians need to style up. Our politicians are messing this nation up. You should not reduce what is as sacred as the right of individuals to vote and to choose their leaders through tokenism, so that you really bribe people to choose you as a leader. You are the wrong leader. If you give people handouts, if you give people tokens to choose you as a leader, you're the wrong leader. And I think that also reflects on us as citizens. What kind of leadership are you looking for? A leadership is a reflection of the citizenry. If I give you my vote because you gave me a gas cylinder, then you go and disappear for 4 years. Then the fifth year you come again and look for me to give me another mattress. How long will that last? I think it is wrong. It is immoral. It is unwise for any leader to think that by buying people's votes, they are the right kind of people. And I dare say you are the wrong kind of leader if you are bribing wananchi. You shouldn't even see the gates of leadership. You shouldn't get there. In fact, I support the IEBC. I hear politicians saying that, you cannot postpone this election. IEBC, go ahead and cancel it if you must. If this is the kind of leadership that you are having, cancel that election. Yeah, because the IBC should be independent and should also protect the sanctity of an electoral process. Yeah, I think the IBC is already acting. If you saw what happened there just this week, there's what the IEBC is already doing. Unfortunately for us also, we've really demonized IBC for long, to the extent that when they do something right, it is hard to give them a pat on the back. But I think the step they took, I saw they did such a thing in the constituency of the late Omondo Were. Somebody was slapped with a fine, and I think this is the second time you're seeing an MP being slapped with a fine. One was summoned to appear before ABC, and in fact, they even threatened that they could withdraw your candidature, and they may expel you from ever being in the IBC list of candidates. I think these are things which are good, and I pray that our judicial system supports IABC in this, so that whoever is not aligning themselves well with our constitution, they shouldn't see leadership positions. Fine, but you remember that a DCP MP was fined and a UDA MP was summoned. Those are facts. Yeah. So it's not like I don't hold brief for IABC, but I'm saying that let's cut them some slack. They may not have even the muscle, the financial muscle, to run all these things at the same time, but at least there's something that IABC is doing. Yeah. And I pray that you all support it.
Okay. Back to ODM empowerment.
Yes.
Tell us more what you think.
Look, it's really mind-blowing that suddenly Luo leaders have become wealthy and have a lot of cash to dish out to the Luo nation. Now, we know it's in the public gala, our limelight, the kind of salaries public servants earn. We know. Okay, the president will earn, apart from the other perks that he gets and the other dealings, I don't want to talk about them. The president's salary is about 1.4 million. Okay, we know that. It's in the public, that's public information, right? A governor will be around almost 1,900,000 and something. An MP will be 739 and thereabout. Those are things that are in the public limelight, okay? So when we see some people suddenly experiencing a Damascus moment and becoming sufficiently philanthropic to throw cash left, right, and center, the question is, where is that money from? Where are they getting that money? Okay? Because you cannot, honestly speaking, you will not want to dish your hard-earned cash, like I saw through the media. You can't be giving millions hard-earned cash that you're empowering people. What sort of empowerment are you talking about? What sort of empowerment? Because look, politics as it is, we have development funds such as the national government CDF. We have county government budgets, and of course we know that these are normally manipulated. Okay. With kickbacks from inflated public tenders. Like if you want to, if bidding is done, of course the people normally win the bids, and of course within those bids there are always kickbacks. Okay, so we are asking ourselves, where are these monies coming from? Okay, a major driver of public of the political fund is the misappropriation or overpricing of government projects. We've seen now how much wheelbarrows cost in county governments. How much pens will cost, okay? So often, initially intended, these are intended for community development or public good or roads or bursaries, but we know that these are normally diverted for voter handouts and political patronage. We know that, okay? That's why people get into government in Kenya for purposes of enriching themselves, and they want to stay in government in Kenya to protect their ill-gotten wealth. We know that, okay? And also we are aware that the wealthy businessmen, of course, and cartels who will want to fund these these politicians. Of course, eventually they're the ones who become entrepreneurs, and in return, these sponsors expect protection from regulations. And they want preferential treatment when it comes to their businesses. So what they do, they fund you from the beginning. So there's nobody in our government today or in our political space who will want to dish out their hard-earned cash. Where do you get that money? How come you dish out millions of shillings, yet still we have issues with our healthcare? We know health was a devolved function. A county governor dishing cash there, I see them dishing? No, it's wrong. Are the nursery schools in your country, are they well built? Do they have facilities? Okay, are there drugs in the hospitals? Look at what Wamatangi is doing in Kiambu. I like what he's doing. Okay, I hope it was not for purposes of optics. But if that be the case, then county governors should be looking at such like things. We know that members of parliament are hell-bent on maintaining national CDF, not because they want constituent development. It's because it is a coffers from which they can get some money to dish out. So this issue of empowerment is wrong. It's taking the wrong direction. It's taking the wrong twist. And the question again is, if you, the media, could follow up and sample some of these people, some of these young people that are being given this money, ask yourselves, what are they doing with the money? What are they doing with the money? Are there success stories that will say that at least out of 20 cases, I have found that there are at least 8 cases of success stories? Could that be the case? I highly doubt. So this is outright bribery of the citizenry, and I think it is very unfortunate. It is very wrong. Let the government provide opportunities for employment. Let the government create an atmosphere for investors to come in. And then out of that, the investment of these investors, young people get employed and they live responsible lives that eventually will give them dignity in their lives. But as it stands, it's unfortunate. In the Luo nation, there are factories that have been closed down. What are they doing about it? There are industries that have been closed down. What are they doing about it? Industries that employed hundreds and thousands of people. Okay? At least during the Uhuru era, I remember today, the other day I visited this space. We have, how do you call it, at the port. We have this institute, Marine Institute. It's there, it's working. Today, what has happened in the Luo nation after that, after the Uhuru time? What have we seen in terms of tangible industries being run or being implemented or being initiated? Ombei is still lying. Ombei, there's supposed to be an industrial park in Ombei. What has happened? What happened to that industrial park? What happened to our cotton mills? What happened, okay, to a sugar industry? There are things that touch basic lives within a community. Stop giving us money. Give us industries. When you give us industries, money will flow. But guess what? Our politicians will want you to keep looking for handouts from them. Yeah. So what do? They keep in that space so that you can keep coming back that for some 200 shillings, for some 300 shillings, for some 1,000 shillings. And it's really unfortunate. I wish all this money could be consolidated to establish industries within constituencies or within wards or within counties that will really change the lives of the citizenry. Yeah. I really don't want to talk about him because I think he's this one man I would not really like to talk about. I think he's a letdown, a big one. Right from the time Raila was still alive. We all know the stories around him. Yeah. So coming right now to tell us that they're giving out millions to young people for empowerment, please, cut me some slack. Give us a break. We don't need your money. We need you to create conducive environments where young people from Suna East will get employment, will get meaningful engagements to the extent that they become financially endowed so that they can live dignified lives. But you cannot tell me that people within your constituency, we still have roads in Suna East that are Maram roads, some are dilapidated, and you tell us that you want to give money to the government so that the government can empower young people. Who is fooling who? Yeah.
For how long do you think this handout will go?
No, the handouts are, of course, the government has really saved a lot of money. Right from the affordable housing, which is, now we'll talk about that. Affordable housing, please remember to talk about that. Right from affordable housing to development projects, empowerment projects, all these things, government has made a lot of money. And this will run, if you ask me, this will run until August, second Tuesday of August next year. And after August, they'll begin recouping. And that's when the rubble meet the road. Life will be unbearable. What the economy today, and wait for, just in case, this government gets a second term, wait until October 2027. Everybody will be running, crying. Everybody, including those of us who are saying two-term. If these things are not well checked, then we'll mess up this nation. Yeah.
Okay. What means do you project they're going to use to recover their money?
Of course. Look, government can never miss their target. If they miss it, it's by design. If the government wants to raise money, they'll do anything. I'll give you a few examples. What happened to Uduma number? Okay. What happened to, how do you call it? The new registration plate for motor vehicles. So when the government wants to raise money, it will raise money. Okay? Why do you have to have one platform known as a platform that is not even owned by government to collect money from people? How do you call it? E-citizen. Why do you have to have one platform? It creates a coffers where you can dip your hands for money. Why must we have this national? I still don't really trust fully this national infrastructure fund. Because of the age, it's also structured. It's not well structured. It is something that is being dictated by the executive. It is not something that really Parliament can really have control over. Because if the CS of finance is one determining the remuneration of the board members of a national infrastructure fund, including the chairman, don't you think he can control those people? So that's beside the point. But what I'm saying is that if the government wants to recover money, it will. Prices will be inflated. Taxes will go high up. You think that the housing levy, the PAYE, the SHA, the NSSF, and all these are the only taxes the government can levy on you? My friend, be prepared. Yes, be prepared. Because once the government spends all that money, it will need to recover it. And government can only be run through our taxes. Yeah. I think it depends on how the ground will shift. And I think there's a lot of things will happen between now and next year. A lot of things. A lot of realignments. Okay. And I suspect that it will be in the interest of President Ruto. I want to make a very sensitive statement. It will be in the interest of President Ruto to get Sifuna on his side. The reason is that, honestly speaking, 71.1% of Kenyans from the national census that took place in 2019, 71.1% of Kenyans are below the age of 35. And right now it will go to up to 75% of Kenyans are below the age of 35. Now, who resonates so closely with this age group? Try, even from Western Kenya, try comparing Sifuna with the likes of Wetangula or Mudavadi. Who will resonate with the majority of Kenyans there? Okay? Across the nation, Sifuna has built a name. So don't be surprised if Ruto is trying to make strike a deal with Sifuna and the babus of this world to see if they can align themselves well. Yeah, because that will be a sure bet for President Ruto. Yeah, because look, today if Sifuna joined Ruto and became deputy president, are you hearing the drift that I'm bringing? So I won't be surprised if Ruto is sort of frantically looking for Sifuna because, largely speaking, the ground is shifting. The guys lingering ground, the ground is really getting narrow and narrow, and wananchi are getting more and more. So they are trying to force it. That's why they have to dish out a lot of cash. They have to push it and all that. Yeah, but largely speaking, if things go there they are, then if I were Ruto, I'll negotiate with the Sifuna, not with the other team. Yeah. And in politics, Raila told us that there are no permanent enemies. Yeah. So don't be surprised. Raila worked with Uhuru Kenyatta they were fighting in 2007. They later worked. Raila fought with Ruto, okay, in 2022. Later on, we saw a handshake, the broad-based government. So in politics, they are never permanent enemies, and it's important for us to be open-minded so that when you don't kill yourself for a politician. Yeah.
So,
yeah, and the politicians not lose money. They're not going to give money for nothing, and they not lose money. In fact, I will be surprised if that money got to meet the intended purpose. I'll be surprised. Yeah. Still, I'm against the issue of dishing out cash they were doing, but I'll be surprised if that money gets to the intended purpose. If it does, that they empower young people, which I'm still against, then well and good for now. But I'd rather that they find a better way of empowering young people, not giving them handouts, cash. No.
do you think they don't know that they're doing something wrong?
Of course,
Just ignorant.
our politicians cannot feign ignorance in this. They are very well aware that they are doing a wrong thing. But because they want to buy the citizenry, they do that. They do it because they want to protect their positions. Okay? And they want to be re-elected. They want to be in office. So what do? They try blinding people with cash. Yeah, and it is wrong. They know it is wrong. It is immoral.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't see this during Raila's time. We didn't Raila's time on the handouts. Is it leadership of good dwindling?
If you say you're a Raila follower, Raila die hard, do what Raila did. Yeah. If you say telling us that Raila was your baba, follow the footsteps of your baba. I never saw Raila dishing out the millions we are seeing being dished today. I never saw that. These people are corrupting the Luo nation. The Luo nation were people who had a stand. They had a belief system. They had priorities that they had. Luos never feared standing alone. We never feared, right from independence. We never feared speaking the truth to power. Luos never feared that. When you see us today being reduced to paupers by the political elite, they reduce us to servitude. We become slaves. It's wrong. It's wrong. So if you are Baba's follower, do what Baba will do. What will Baba do? Baba will not come and begin dishing out the kind of money you're dishing out. If you're dishing out your money like that, then maybe you should ask yourselves, whose son or daughter are you? You're not Baba's son or daughter. Yeah, I'd like to tell them that they need to style up. Let them reach out because not all is lost. Not all is lost. I don't believe all is lost. Baba's spirit is still on. So not all is lost. So they can still sit down. They can still step off their high horses and find a working formula because it's always there. But that working formula will require sacrifice. You'll need to sacrifice your pride, your ego, your ambition for the sake of the party that you purport to believe in. So it will take a lot of sacrifice, to take humility from both ends. Sifuna is not out of ODM. He's out of those positions, but not ODM. So I think it's important that we find a middle ground because Sifuna is better placed if he is in ODM than being in any other political formation. So if the ODM leadership are keen on carrying on Raila's legacy, then they should reach out. If Raila didn't chase Sifuna, why are you chasing him?